Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I made this cool little peg game, or what some people call peg solitaire. The peg game has a neat little feature that I built in that you don't see on most other peg games, and that the lid slides open to reveal the pegs inside. For the base of this project, I'm going to be using a piece of scrap 8/4 walnut, but if you don't have 8/4, you can always glue together 2 pieces of 4/4 material. Now I'll face joint one side and bring it to thickness at the thickness planer. I'm going to use this 1 block of wood for 2 separate games, so I went ahead and traced out 2 different triangles, and I'll cut them to length now. My dado blade always leaves little grooves on the inside of the cut. Normally this wouldn't matter if you were making a dado for, say, a half lap joint or a bookshelf where something was going to go inside and you would never see the lines. But in this case, this is actually going to be exposed when you open up the lid. So I'd like to be able to remove these little lines, and I'm going to do that at the router table using a mortising bit, and we'll just clean this up on the inside. It's very important when you make this cut that you have this edge of the wood facing the fence. Because if you didn't, and you were cutting this portion of the wood, as it went past the router bit, you would be climb cutting, and we don't want to do that. Now what I need to do is make a little shallow rabbet on both sides of this dado in order to receive the runner for the lid. I cut some thin strips of walnut for the runners, and these will just be glued in place in the rabbet that we created. I've got my top clamped in my homemade tenon jig, and all I need to do is make a kerf on the inside of this rabbet so that it's able to slide onto the body of the game. Because the rail in the body of the jig is a little bit wider than the kerf of a saw blade, I need to adjust my fence in by just a little bit and make one more pass. The game takes the shape of an equilateral triangle, which means that each angle within the triangle is 60 degrees. So in order to make those 60-degree cuts, I made a jig at the miter saw, and I set my miter saw to 30 degrees. With the lid slid in place, I applied a few pieces of blue tape to keep the lid from sliding around as I'm making these cuts. Now it's time to form the recess in the middle for the pegs, and we'll start that at the drill press. After you have all 4 holes bored out at the drill press, the next part of the process is to just take a chisel and kind of just even things out and make it look a little nicer. Okay, so that's essentially it. The game is finished. When you're done playing, all of the pegs go inside like so. In order to keep the lid from sliding open when you're playing, I epoxied a little magnet, a rare earth magnet, inside the base of the game, and on the other side, I epoxied in a washer. So when you shut the lid, it kind of snaps shut.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to beat this peg game.
Let me show you how it's done, old man. That's how you do it, old man.